I never imagined the most painful moment of my wedding would happen before I even put on my dress. And I definitely never imagined the man who walked me down the aisle would leave every single guest frozen in silence. By the end of that day, my father wasn't the one people were looking at. They were looking at the man he spent 26 years pretending didn't matter. My name is Emily. I'm 26 years old, and until my wedding day, I believed every daughter deserved one thing: to have her father proudly walk her down the aisle. I wasn't asking for money. I wasn't asking for a fancy wedding. I just wanted that one moment. My parents divorced when I was 12. It wasn't peaceful. My father, Richard, cheated on my mother with a woman from his office. A year later, he married her. After that, I became someone he visited whenever it was convenient. Birthdays? Sometimes. School plays? Almost never. Graduation? He showed up late and left early. Every disappointment came with the same excuse: I'm busy, sweetheart. As a child, I believed him. As an adult, I realized people make time for who matters. Still, I kept trying. Maybe because little girls never really stop wanting their fathers. Then I met Daniel. He loved me in a way that healed pieces I didn't know were broken. When he proposed, I cried so hard I couldn't answer. He laughed. I'll take that as a yes. For the first time, life felt complete. When we started planning the wedding, everyone assumed my father would walk me down the aisle. Even my fiancé asked, "Have you told your dad yet?" I will. I actually felt excited. Maybe this would finally be the moment we became a real father and daughter. So I drove to his house. He opened the door with a smile that disappeared the second he realized why I was there. "Dad. Come in." After a few minutes of awkward conversation, I handed him the invitation. "I'd really like you to walk me down the aisle." For a second, he didn't answer. Then he sighed. "Emily. I don't think that's a good idea." I blinked. "What?" "My wife doesn't feel comfortable." I laughed because I honestly thought he was joking. But he wasn't. "She thinks people will misunderstand if I play the proud father after everything." I stared at him. "Everything?" "The divorce. You cheated on Mom." "I know." "So, you're refusing because your wife is uncomfortable?" He rubbed his forehead. "I'm trying to keep peace at home." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "So keeping peace with her matters more than your daughter?" Silence. That silence answered everything. I picked up my purse. "Forget I asked." "Emily." "No." I walked out before he could see me crying. For days, I ignored everyone's questions. "Who's walking you down the aisle?" "I haven't decided." The truth was, I had no idea. Then one evening, someone knocked on my apartment door. It was Mr. Harris, my old high school teacher. He looked nervous. "I heard what happened." I frowned. "Who told you?" "Your mother." He held out a small photo. I looked down. It was from my senior science fair. I was smiling while holding a trophy. Standing beside me was him. I smiled sadly. "I remember this." He smiled back. "Your father didn't come." "No." "So I did." I laughed softly. "You've been there for a lot of moments." He nodded. "You know, your father wasn't the only man watching you grow up." His words hit me harder than I expected. Mr. Harris had stayed after school countless times helping me apply for scholarships. He attended every debate competition. He wrote recommendation letters. When my car broke down in college, he drove 3 hours to help because my father didn't answer. I had never really thought about it. He had quietly been there. Every single time. Before leaving, he said, "If you need anything on your wedding day, call me." That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about every important memory. And somehow, Mr. Harris was always there. Not because he had to, because he wanted to be. A week before the wedding, I made my decision. I called him. He answered immediately. Hello? I have a question. Anything. I started crying before I could even say it. Would you walk me down the aisle? The phone became completely silent. Then I heard him sniff. I'd be honored. Word spread through the family faster than I expected. Suddenly, my father called. Emily. What? I heard you're replacing me. I laughed bitterly. You replaced me years ago. You can't embarrass me like this. I don't have to. You'll regret it. No, Dad. I whispered. You already made sure I regretted believing in you. Then I hung up. The wedding day arrived. Everything was beautiful. The flowers. The music. The dress. But inside, I felt terrified. As guests filled the seats, I noticed my father sitting in the second row beside his wife. He looked angry. Not hurt. Angry. As if my wedding belonged to him. The music began. The doors opened. Mr. Harris stood beside me in a simple black suit. His hands were shaking. So are mine, I whispered. He smiled. Good. Why good? It means today matters. I almost cried again. The doors opened wider. Every guest stood. Mr. Harris gently offered his arm. This is your moment. As we started walking, something incredible happened. People weren't staring at my dress. They were staring at him. Whispers spread through the church. Who is that? I thought her father was here. That's not Richard. Then, halfway down the aisle, an elderly woman stood up. It was the retired school principal. She smiled through tears. I know him. More people turned. He helped hundreds of students. Another guest added. He paid for school lunches when families couldn't afford them. Someone else whispered. He donated anonymously for years. I looked at him. You never told me. He smiled. It wasn't about recognition. Suddenly, the entire church started clapping. Not because of me. Because of him. I had never seen him look so embarrassed. When we reached the altar, he leaned close. I'm proud of the woman you've become. No one, not even my own father, had ever said those words to me. I completely broke down. After the ceremony, guests lined up to congratulate us. Almost every conversation started the same way. Your father must be an incredible man. I smiled. He isn't my father. No. I looked toward Mr. Harris talking quietly with my mother. But he's family. Then came the reception. My father suddenly grabbed the microphone. I'd like to say something. The room became quiet. He walked toward me. His face looked pale. I made mistakes. I nodded. Yes. I should have walked you today. You should have. I'm still your father. Before I could answer, Mr. Harris quietly stood. I think that's true. Everyone looked at him. He continued gently. No one can erase biology. Then he looked at my father. But being a father isn't measured by DNA. Silence. It's measured by showing up. No one said a word. Because everyone knew. He was right. My father's eyes filled with tears. For the first time in my life, he had no excuse. Months later, something happened that surprised me. My father started therapy. Not because I asked him to. Because he finally admitted he had spent decades choosing comfort over responsibility. He wrote me a handwritten letter. No excuses. No blaming anyone else. Just one sentence that stayed with me forever. I kept waiting for the right time to be your father, and by the time I looked up, someone better had already done it. I cried reading it. Not because it fixed everything, but because it was the first honest thing he'd ever given me. Today, the framed wedding photo sits in our living room. People always ask the same question. Is that your dad? I smile every single time. No. Then who is he? I look at the man proudly walking beside me in that picture. The man who never asked for recognition. The man who showed up when everyone else walked away. And I answer with complete certainty. That's the man who earned the right to walk me down the aisle. Because family isn't always the people who give you life. Sometimes, family is the person who quietly stands beside you until you finally realize they've been loving you like family all along.